Hello everyone and welcome to Live at 12:45. I'm Kristen Bomis and I thought a little change of scenery might be a little good for today. It's an off Thursday and today we're going to talk about the strength of a man. In my note I say we're going to define it, but really we're going to let men start to understand a little bit about how their strength is perceived, and I think it's up to men to define their strength just like it's up to a woman to define hers. So what is the strength of a man to most people as they perceive men? Well, that strength begins and is formulated in the emotional expression of self. Because a man who is not built upon emotion, that's more of the feminine energy, if you will. They're more about the linear thinking. But the emotional aspect and their ability to have that connection with who they are in that truth gives a depth of strength that connects with their physical strength to give a security and an assuredness that's very different than physical strength alone. So what do I mean by that? Well, a man who just is all bravado and is going to fight, that person, and he's going to do this, and it's all fight, and only sees their strength in that fight, strength, loses what it feels like to be protected by that person. And when we are being protected by that male energy and that male strength, we don't always want them in warfare, right? We would like them to be as open to who they are and their intellect and how they feel about things, and staying outside their anger and being able to really explore some of the best avenues to dismantle an argument or a situation, an aggressive situation, but to feel through it, to think through it, right? So we're looking at a depth of strength when we ask this question. We're looking at what brings all of the man into his strength. And what brings all of a man into his strength is all of his being. And our being rests upon our emotional, energetic realm. So a man with a lot of male energy is a great thing, happens all the time, right? So how do we now then really help define that strength in a deeper, more encompassing, secure way? We add the rest of the man. So he is his physical body, but he is also his energetic body, which is his emotional being, and he's also his intellectual self, right? So his caring, his want to protect, his desire to protect, and all of that ability to defend and protect and create safety comes from a place within him that is the protector and the provider at some level. Not that women can't do the same thing, it's just that today we're talking about men. So as we talk about that, we're then saying, then the strength of a man begins with his inner journey. It begins with that truth of who he is, his emotional and intellectual description of that emotion, his heart, how he truly puts himself into the positions that he takes. So that strength then deepens the definition and broadens the definition of that strength of a man. So I hope all of you will think about the men in your lives, and as men, to think about who you are as a man. Where does that strength in you originate? Allow yourself to go down inside yourself and ask, where does this need to protect, to defend, where does that come from? It comes from a deep commitment, a deep feeling, a deep loyalty. Something, right? But whatever that is, it's down inside you. So it's in the depth of the man that we find the strength of the man deepening and becoming much more encompassing. So I want to thank you today for broadening your view of what the strength of a man can mean. And as men, it's up to you to define how you feel your own strength and how you see the strength of a man defined within you. Just like as women, we want to define ourselves through who we are as women rather than being defined by those outside of us. So I thank you all for joining me. Please join me again on Monday for our Facebook Live. And of course, I forgot the question, but it will be on Facebook so that you can get it there. And please feel free to join me on YouTube for my Speak Your Truth podcast. And Mantras on the Go exist on Instagram. So please join Kristen Bomis on all 3 platforms and more. Please join me on my website if you have any further questions. I thank you very much for supporting me today. Have a wonderful weekend.